Call the meeting to order, a joint protections of persons and property subcommittee, Tuesday, September 19th, 2023, 6 p.m., Veterans Room. Roll call will be Councilor Dow,
Present.
Councilor Ortiz,
Present.
Citizen Member Julian,
Present.
Citizen Member La Rochelle,
Present.
myself.
For you.
I said it myself.
For you.
Consider and accept the PPP subcommittee minutes of August 8th, 2023. I hear a motion?
So second.
I wasn't here.
Any corrections? I thought they were well. Any questions? None? Hear none? All in favor? Opposed? None.
I'm abstained. I wasn't here.
Okay, one abstention.
On the minute, correct?
Yeah,
Why you don't put the account number still XXX? Oh no, they don't have to be here. But I'm looking at the wrong one.
yeah, I think so. That's
What's the
tonight.
XX?
That's for tonight. He'll explain that better.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna move agenda item number 5 up to number 4 and 4 to number 5, so the gentleman from FEMA can give his presentation and we can move forward. Is that okay with everybody? Okay.
Yes. So, through the chair to everybody else, thank you everybody else for coming in tonight. I have a representative here from FEMA today to describe the situation at hand with the FEMA FY24 BRIC grant. This is, as in you see in my memo, this was a grant that we put in, and I was one of only in the whole New England region to get this grant approved. And with his presentation, he'll describe a little bit what it does. Years past, we've had a hazard mitigation plan, but done by another agency. That agency is not doing that any longer for that particular resource. So we've gone out and gotten this grant, so we'll be able to get this pretty much free. It's going to be some time and effort. The only thing I did not put in my memo was that we will need a couple of delegates from either the subcommittee or the town council to sit on a committee, because we're going to create a committee when this is all said and done, working with FEMA and a group of stakeholders that are going to help us rewrite this. And I'll let Brandon explain a little bit more. I gave everybody, does everybody have a copy of these? Those 8 slides. Instead of doing the PowerPoint on the wall and then doing the one next week, he'll just walk through the PowerPoint, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me.
Yeah, thank you for that. Just do it from right here.
Yeah, just stand up.
Yeah, I'm Brendan Lynch. I represent FEMA. I'm an emergency management specialist. Also your BRIC DTA coordinator, so direct technical assistance. With the BRIC grant, Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities, it's kind of a mouthful. Started in 2020, and that particular grant is a financial requirement from the town, but there was an incentive and an initiative recently, non-financial, that just provides purely technical assistance to the town. It's not a guarantee in the grant process. We can help you develop applications, we can help you develop what we're doing for Southbridge is the hazard mitigation plan update. There are a multitude of things that through this process of updating your hazard mitigation plan, we can basically either help you with benefit cost analysis. If you find a project that your heart is set on and you want to apply for a grant in the future, we can help you with that. But Southbridge, as Chief Norman stated, basically applied for assistance with the hazard mitigation plan update. Non-financial, that's kind of what I'm here to hammer, is it's no financial requirement from the town, just staff time and effort. The chief stated a committee is going to be made at some point. We can discuss that further. It's really what I'm here for is to answer questions from you guys. I put together a slide, but on my drive down here, I was just thinking, keep it simple. BRIC is a financial requirement. BRIC technical assistance, what I am representing, is non-financial. It's a 36-month agreement, and what we need from the town two is a memo of understanding that I think through your process, you make a recommendation to the full town council, and then they can vote to approve it, which would subsequently be signed by the town manager. And then I would do what I need to do on my end, send that back to headquarters, and that basically gives you 36 months of me and my contracts, my FEMA, everything, to help you through this process. So I'd be happy to answer any of the questions.
The MOU is included in your packet that was sent out, but it's right there.
It's pretty standard language. It's a template MOU that every community in the nation has signed. So this started in 2020, just to give you a little background. There's 75 total communities throughout the country right now going through this technical assistance program. It's very fluid. HQ really emphasizes that too. It's very town specific, so whatever you need, we can cater to. We can make this as in-depth as you want, or we can be as hands-off as you want. We have a project going in Maine right now where they started with one idea and they soon realized that they bit off more than they could chew. We totally threw it out, changed course, and right now we're helping them with a much smaller, more manageable grant that they can apply for instead of, and then that will build to their bigger idea. It got political, it involved commercial fishing, which is a huge thing, and we were able to scale it back and kind of meet their needs, what they need now. So, yeah, with that, it's a really fluid thing, and as we meet more with the chief and TJ Edwards, and figure out what y'all need, we can throw this together and get your hazard mitigation plan updated.
Any questions?
This is just gonna involve the fire department, this is gonna be fire, police, DPW, the whole thing with FEMA, right?
This is townwide. This is a part of our
Right, that's what I'm saying, for
emergency
public safety.
operations plan.
Right.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so as long as everybody involved, public safety.
And with that, just to expand on that too, we invite, and Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, but we invite anybody and anybody, stakeholder-wise, from DPW, director, town manager, if you have time to meet at these meetings. Generally, right now, the other communities that we have from past rounds, so Chief stated, Massachusetts, you're the only community in Mass to be doing this. We have one in Maine, one in Vermont, and I'll be working with a Native American tribe, the Narragansett tribe down in Rhode Island. But yeah, New England kind of doesn't have many going on. There are other regions that have several dozen, but for now, Massachusetts, you guys are the only ones.
Is this mainly to recover from a disaster type thing, or?
So, in the overarching scheme of things, yes. But specifically for Southbridge, the hazard mitigation plan basically identifies critical infrastructure that is either susceptible to flooding. So that's two major things in New England are blizzards and flooding, inland flooding. So your hazard mitigation plan specifically will address areas in town that you either want to increase resiliency for infrastructure so that in a flooding event it doesn't fail as quickly or it's easier to bring back online. So to answer your question in the overarching scheme of things, yeah, we want you to be more resilient. So you're kind of spending money up front to save money in the long run, because over the years we've realized that if you invest now, it saves you exponential money when a disaster does hit.
Chief?
So just to add on to that, so our current hazard mitigation plan expires in 2024. So this was knowing the need to start the process of rewriting this and adapting and editing our current plan, which we're using as a template. We've already given the template that we have. We're going to use that as the template as we move forward. And then, like you said, we can elaborate further into it. Previous DPW director was heavily involved with this because of the water runoff, the drainages, the dams. The engineer, Matt Desjardins, was involved with this the last time we went through this. So it was a pretty inclusive plan that we had, but again, it's only available for 5 years, and then you have to either rewrite it or just sign the old one into it. So I decided that we'll rewrite it and use our old plan as the template. So that's kind of what we're using to kick off the program.
I might suggest that if it does pass on Monday night, that as far as assigning people to a committee would sit down with the town manager and the chairman of the, because maybe they'll have different ideas of on the way to go with that.
Right, you know.
Any other questions? Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. What is holistic hazard mitigation?
So that's a good question. It's kind of it's a very broad term, and they do that purposefully. It's really giving the town the ability to choose from many options and what works for the town. Whether it's DPW and working with drainage, or focusing on the dams. It's really just, it's that kind of fluid ability to work within what the town needs. So it's a holistic approach. I personally, I wish I could answer you better than that, but that's kind of the answers that I've gotten in this program. It's a very broad term to work within the town's limits, means, needs.
So does this have something to do with climate change?
It'll incorporate those, those studies and those numbers. That is the broader goal again of the BRIC grant as a whole, is to incorporate climate change on the coast, sea level rise. But I mean, we've seen this summer, this is me personally speaking, but I'm sure everybody's seen the news with the flooding in Vermont, the flooding in Leominster that happened a couple weeks ago. Storms are getting more intense, they're getting more frequent, so that's the idea of this grant program, is to increase the ability for a town to rebound from those events.
And what would be the end result of this, just to have another plan in place, or what would be the end result? That's a good question.
So by MEMA regulation and FEMA regulation, you have to have a hazard mitigation plan on file. Like I said, in 2018, we did the last one, and then it is basically everything that will be in the emergency operations plan, to include the responses, what we're going to do for every situation, which I think you were on the council last year, or 2 years ago, we put that in play. It's a book that's about this big, and it gives you everything that you do in a case of a tornado, a hurricane, shelters, all these things. Hazard mitigation is again one of those annexes, we'll call, is really what it comes down to.
And you would assist the community in this process to write grants to help mitigate potential problems that is seen? Is that part of that?
So part of the technical assistance is everything but money.
Money, okay.
So if you, honestly, if you say, if we're right now, we're talking about the hazard mitigation plan, and that was all that the application was
Right.
for, which is fine. If going through this process, we pick out a project that the community is like, boom, that is something that we can do, we have the match to do it, and we wanna develop it. We can absolutely help you with engineering, we can help with that. We have two different contracts, two contractors that work for us, and one of them is a major engineering firm that will do everything from hydrologic and hydraulic analysis to benefit cost analysis to design plans. So it's really, as we go through this, kind of the sky's the limit, up until the point of the grant, which then you have to apply for, and we can help you put together applications. Ideally, we want this to lead to applications to the BRIC program, but obviously if something comes up, a state grant, just some random grant that comes through that's new, that's not BRIC specific, but some other federal grant, whatever, then by all means, you can use this documentation to apply for something else. It's not restrictive.
Oh,
And that's what I was gonna ask. If I remember years ago when I helped out on it for what Councilor Marquetti said, let's say global warming. If we identified an issue for temperatures, high temperatures, and sheltering for people in cooling centers and stuff like this, what we identify can help out in applying to grants should they come out in the future.
Yep.
And be competitive because we did our due diligence by having the plan.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I think of the hazard mitigation plan kind of like a menu, you know?
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot more to it than that, but it's basically something that you can pick from and be like, we have money set aside for that, let's do that. So that's how I look at it. And yours is relatively recent, but obviously numbers have changed, things are changing. It's always good to update it whenever possible. And this kind of assistance doesn't come around that often, so, yeah, you get the full backing of FEMA and all of our contracts to do this, so.
Any other questions? I failed to ask for a motion to have discussion since we already had the discussion.
I don't think we needed to have discussion, we needed to have a vote.
All right. Is there a motion to forward this up to
Motion.
second?
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Opposed? None. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
If you can stay if you want, we'll be in touch. If not,
anything else apply to me?
nothing else applies to you right now. I just on another note, I did not arrange for him to come to the council meeting on.
Yeah, is
The next
that
one.
all right? If you,
Well, I think it should be
I
fine.
think,
3.
Okay.
We're all in.
I'll send out this PowerPoint to the entire council, then if they have any questions, they can call me. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Good night. Next one is to review the promotional process for an upcoming lieutenant's position in the fire department, replacement of a retiring member, and vote to recommend town council to allow the town manager seek a request for proposals for services for an assessment center service.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the chief, we've been talking, Lieutenant Peck will be retiring in March. So we'd like to start the process early so that we can have that replacement on board
Absolutely.
upon his retirement. Because I'm sure he's gonna take the earned time and all that, so we'll be working to do that. So this was just simply to let us go and submit for the request for proposals. Then we would bring back whatever assessment center that replies to that request for proposal for approval by council. And then at that time, we will have some parameters of what that cost may be as well. And we identified there would be a number of firefighters that would potentially go through that assessment center. So roughly, Chief, would you say?
10, 11, 12 eligible to take the test if possible.
Is the assessment center, does the cost of the assessment center go by amount per person or just the assessment center?
The last time I recall, it was a set price for up to 6, and then they had to add another bunch of people, like a block of 4, at another cost. So
Okay.
there's one cost for the first 6, and then there's a second cost for the next.
Okay.
the next. We'll know more after the RFP, to be honest
Okay.
with you.
Councilor Dow?
Thank you, Chair, through you. Chief, the people eligible to apply, they're new or have to be few years in that department to be able to apply?
So there is a process that was voted on in 2018 for the lieutenant and captain's process at the time. That was done by the previous fire chief. I have the wording for it. All officers within the Southbridge Fire Department and any member of the bargaining unit with at least 5 years of actual service in the rank of firefighter may apply for promotion to lieutenant. If an individual has full-time service in another department, 3 of those years can be used in the calculation. Now, let me just go back. This process has been used twice in the last, 6 years. And very successfully. We've got the best candidate that we can get out of the process.
Thank you.
And then that list would maintain for 1 year. And I remember about that 1 year, one list, I think we went through 4
people.
4 people,
one
4 or
year.
5, right? We went through almost the whole list. Because of people retiring or leaving.
Roland?
Chief, just a question on something you said. 3 years of full-time service in another department?
Says the process right now says if an individual has full-time service in another department, 3 of those years can be used in the calculation. So if someone's been here for 2
so it's
years,
consecutive years, not a year here, year there, year there.
it doesn't say anything about consecutive. I wouldn't know what the interpretation would be on that. It says
I'm
if
just
you-
wondering, in your experience with some people that move around quite often, if that creates a problem for you? would it be, you know, risk benefit type deal?
So it'd be definitely risk benefit, but at this point, I think as you look at the 5 total years, they need to be within the department, or they can have 2 years full-time with us and 3 years with another department, the way it reads here.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? None. Agenda item number 6, vote to approve the town manager's appointment of Dale Ferrin to the Traffic Commission effective immediately through June 30th, 2026. State ethics and good standing, entertain a motion to the town council to recommend confirmation or take any action thereof.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, town manager.
Yep. So, Dale is asking to come back, well, I believe he's been on the traffic commission, so this may be technically a reappointment.
It's a reappointment.
Reappointment to that, and he should have been reappointed, and didn't get reappointed at the time of his expiration, so it's a new appointment, but a reappointment for him to be on the traffic commission, so, that's where we're at, so.
Question, as all the committees, are the appointments to the traffic commission is staggered?
Yeah.
So, okay.
And I tried to be very specific, so like tomorrow night on the EHS, there's a bunch of appointments to the subcommittee. We made sure that we targeted the right dates, so some were for 2 years and some were 3, so that they were replacing a member that had left and all that. But this is expired, so it would be a brand new 3-year term.
Any questions?
Are we doing that with all committees?
What's that? Staggered term?
Staggering terms?
Yes.
So, I'm only on 1-year term, Roland's only 1-year term.
That's for this, that the citizen members are always 1-year terms.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just seeing if you were doing that too.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? So, are you gonna take care of this with Gail?
Yeah, we already got a house clear away. I figured everything would go through, so we're
Okay.
working on it, so.
So, can you give this though, these have been accepted?
Oh, yeah.
Because we're working hard at writing.
Still, the question was, why was XXX on, and you say?
Oh,
needed
that was just
explanation.
because the dates were, as soon as we formulate the RFP, then those dates will
That's
populate
just
into
a
it.
template.
Return your RFP
By such and
by X date. I put X's in there just to say, because we don't know when we're gonna send it out. It will change, it will get changed.
It will change. I'll send you a copy of the updated one.
Thank you.
When you get the RFP completed, the contract comes for review here?
Yes,
Or you-
yeah, it'll come through it's come through the same process.
Okay. Anything else before the PPP?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
So moved. All in favor?